The drama in NASCAR isn't just on the racetrack anymore, it's heading straight for the courtroom. A massive antitrust lawsuit filed by two race teams against NASCAR itself is set to go to trial, and this could change the sport as we know it forever. So, what's all the fuss about? It boils down to one word: charters. For those who might not know, a charter is basically a franchise for a NASCAR Cup Series team. There are 36 of them, and if you own one, you're guaranteed a spot in every race and a bigger slice of the prize money pie. The current agreement for these charters is set to expire, and teams have been trying to negotiate a new deal with NASCAR for years. The biggest sticking point? The teams want the charters to be permanent. They argue that without permanence, it's nearly impossible to secure long-term investments, attract sponsors, and build a sustainable business. Imagine trying to get a 30-year loan for a business that might not even have the right to operate in 5 years. That's the position these teams are in. NASCAR, on the other hand, has been pushing back. They've offered extensions, but they're refusing to make the charters permanent. Why? They want to maintain control. They see the charters as a tool to ensure teams stay competitive and follow the rules. If a team consistently underperforms or breaks the rules, NASCAR wants the ability to revoke that charter. They're afraid that if charters become permanent, they'll lose their leverage over the teams. It's a classic power struggle between a league and its franchises, something we've seen in other sports, but it's hitting a boiling point in NASCAR. The tension has been simmering for a while, but it really started to boil over in 2024. Most of the teams felt backed into a corner and reluctantly signed a new 7-year charter agreement in August of that year. But two teams held their ground: 23XI Racing, co-owned by basketball legend Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, and Front Row Motorsports. They refused to sign. Instead, they took a huge gamble. In October 2024, they filed a joint antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR, accusing the sanctioning body of operating an illegal monopoly. Their argument is that NASCAR uses its monopoly power to suppress the value of the teams and control the entire sport in a way that is unfair and unlawful. They claim that by refusing to grant permanent charters and controlling the broadcast revenue, NASCAR is preventing the teams from ever becoming truly profitable or independent. Essentially, they're saying NASCAR has created a system where the house always wins, and the teams are just tenants who can be kicked out at any time. The lawsuit has brought some pretty explosive details to light. One of the most talked about pieces of evidence is a letter written by Heather Gibbs, the co-owner of Joe Gibbs Racing, back in May 2024, after a tense meeting with NASCAR leadership. She wrote a heartfelt plea arguing for permanent charters. She wrote, and I'm quoting here, "When all the stakes are on the table, teams need to know their worth is valued and secure." She essentially said that permanence would build trust and secure the team's long-term commitment to the sport. So how did NASCAR's top brass react to this plea for partnership? Well, according to court documents, not well at all. A report revealed that NASCAR CEO Jim France read the letter out loud while, and I'm quoting the report here, swearing every other sentence. Other NASCAR executives reportedly concluded that the letter was actually hurting the teams. This moment really shows just how deep the divide is. What one side saw as a reasonable business proposal, the other saw as an outrageous demand, met with anger and profanity. It's not a negotiation anymore, it's a fight. After months of failed settlement talks and legal maneuvering, the trial is finally here. Jury selection has begun, and the proceedings are expected to last about 2 weeks. The judge overseeing the case, Judge Kenneth Bell, has voiced his own concerns, stating, "It's hard to picture a winner if this goes to the mat." He even said the potential costs of this legal battle scare him to death. He sees this as a lose-lose situation for the sport, no matter who legally wins in court. So, what are the possible outcomes? If the teams win, it could fundamentally restructure NASCAR. A court could force NASCAR to grant permanent charters, which would give teams unprecedented power and financial security. It would be a monumental shift, turning team owners from participants into true partners in the sport. Their franchise values would skyrocket overnight. But if NASCAR wins, it would be a huge blow to the teams. It would validate NASCAR's current business model and solidify its control. The teams that suit to 3XI and Front Row could find themselves in a very precarious position, potentially without charters and on the outside looking in. It could also create a chilling effect. discouraging any other teams from challenging NASCAR's authority in the future. There's also a third possibility, a settlement, even with the trial underway. Both sides could still reach an agreement at any moment to avoid a potentially devastating verdict. A settlement would likely be a compromise, perhaps a much longer-term charter agreement with more favorable terms for the teams, but stopping short of full permanence. This might be the least bad option for everyone, allowing them to avoid the uncertainty of a jury verdict. Regardless of what happens, this trial is a landmark moment for NASCAR. It has pulled back the curtain on the bitter financial disputes that have been brewing behind the scenes for years. The future of team ownership, the financial model of the sport, and the balance of power are all on the line. Experts believe that no matter the initial verdict, this case will likely be appealed, meaning this legal saga could drag on for another year or two. We're watching history unfold, not on the track, but in a Charlotte courtroom. The outcome will define NASCAR for generations to come. Will the teams gain the security they've been fighting for, or will the France family and NASCAR leadership cement their control over the sport they've run for decades? One thing is for sure, the checkered flag on this race is nowhere in sight. What do you think? Should the teams get permanent charters, or is NASCAR right to keep them on a shorter leash? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. It's a fascinating debate with huge implications for the entire sport. Thanks for watching, and if you want to stay updated on this story and all things NASCAR, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be following this closely. See you next time.